Welcome back to our fourth video in this series on the alien breeding program slash demon breeding program slash hybrid humanoid breeding and basically that topic. So in our last video we looked at some stories from the thought catalog. As I said, you can just look at that URL and just go and paste it and read. There are numerous stories. There are many documented stories, evidence, even some of them actually have photos. Yeah. So you can actually look at this thing and see that this is something genuine. It's not something that people are making up. People cannot all over the world just be making up the same thing. So yeah, just give people the benefit of doubt. There are people who hoax, but these ones you'll find some genuine experiences there. So here I want us to look at a certain video it was done by Whitley Strieber, I think that's his name. He was interviewing a guy by the name of Jesse Long, and Jesse started being abducted in the 1950s when he was 5 years old. So when he was 5 years old, that was the first time he experienced an abduction. He was abducted, and there was something put into his leg which gave him a lot of trouble, and it was finally removed in the 90s. And there's a video evidence to that effect. And when they looked at it and analyzed it, they realized that it's something that is out of this world. Yeah, so anyway, this guy was actually being abducted for the sake of breeding, specifically for breeding. So I just want us to look at a few parts of that video. I don't want to plagiarize it, but you can just go to YouTube and look for Whitley Strieber interview of Jesse Long, and you'll find that interview. But let me just play a few parts of it right here.
My first abduction occurred in 1957 when I was 5 years old in Rogersville, Tennessee, a very small town in Upper East Tennessee. My brother John was with me at the time. Above the hill behind our house, we came up on what appeared to be a round house under construction. And one man, a taller looking figure, he had a long rod in his hand. A light was emitted from it and we were paralyzed.
It is at this point that Jesse Long's conscious memory of what happened ends. He says it's only through hypnosis that he's been able to remember the rest of this first abduction. What you are seeing is actual footage of Jesse undergoing hypnotic regression.
You will not be able to...
I remembered being taken into the craft, taken into one room. I was placed on a very cold, flat table. My brother was separated and he was taken into another room. Most of my abductions occurred very similarly. When they brought me into the craft, they would take me down a long hallway. They would place me on a flat table. Of course, I was paralyzed and had to be because I was kicking and screaming. I didn't want to be there. On the table included a sperm extraction. The sperm extraction procedure is the most traumatic and has caused me the most problems in that they actually force me to crossbreed with what seems to be a female being.
This is evidence that can't be ignored, and the story just gets more and more disturbing. What Jesse says happened here in 1990 may answer the question that hangs over every abduction account. Why is this being done?
I was taken aboard the craft, placed on a table. I was presented with a baby. I was told, "This is your child." happened then. And there were 9 other children standing along the wall. They all looked at me, and I could see, yes, they were mine.
So I don't want to continue with the video. Of course, it has some disturbing parts. The places where he was being hypnotized, they actually have video evidence of that, and then his experiences. It's not a very good experience. Even as you watch the video, you can tell it's not something that you'd want to watch every day. But I just wanted to give you the gist of that what they were doing was sperm extraction. At some point, he had to meet with some creature. And he was saying that was one of the most horrifying experiences that he went through. And then after some years, they abducted him in the early 90s, and that's when they took him to a place and they showed him his children. I put that in quotes. So that is actually what they are about. They are about breeding. Let me show you a different video by Al Matthews. Al Matthews is somebody who had experienced multiple abductions, and then finally had to move from the place where he used to stay. So he was a guy who used to move people from place to place. And one time he was moving a lady from her house, and she was with her daughter, and only to realize that this woman had been married to a hybrid, and she had had many hybrid children. Let's just listen in.
Friends, LA, nice to chat with you again. Once again, I was doing a move last week for a couple of girls out in Vancouver. One of the girls I had met before, she was not there for the move. She was at work. So the other daughter was there. She's about 18 years old, and the mom was there to help her. Just awesome people. The mother was so nice, very polite, and as usual, what I do is I like to, start up a conversation. Where are you originally from? How long have you lived in BC? She told me, I lived in Ottawa for a bunch of years. I was in the government. And I go, oh, really? I was raised in Ottawa and lived there for 34 years, and had a place in the Gatineaus. And she goes, oh, why did you move out here? And I said, you really want me to tell you? She goes, yeah, why not? And I told her, do you believe in UFOs? And she's there, standing beside her daughter. Her daughter was probably about 18. And they looked at each other and smiled. And then she said, yes, I believe in UFOs. Why? What happened? And I said I had multiple abductions. I met a hybrid that was out here that shape-shifted her eyes. And once again, they looked at each other, and she goes, well, I was married to a hybrid. And I go, what? And she goes, my husband was not fully human. And I go, you're kidding me. And she goes, no, I'm not kidding you. There's lots of people walking amongst us that are not human.
Okay, so Al continues in the video. We're going to watch it in the next one that I'll make, because this one is almost timing out. But he continues to speak about this. But LA intervened there just to speak about David Jacobs' book. I think I'd said John Mark earlier. I'm sorry, it is David Jacobs, Dr. David Jacobs, who's written the book Walking Among Us. And the thing he's put forth in that book, and which Al is referring to here, is that there are these hybrids are actually here with us, and they can pass off as human, because you cannot really tell who is human and who is hybrid. And that's why I was saying that we're actually living in the days of Noah, because just the same way in the days of Noah, those creatures were all over the place, and only Noah was pure in his generations. Those are the days that we are living in, where these things they are all over the earth. They have been breeding. They have hybrids. That lady was married to a hybrid. So you can imagine hers is what, the second generation, third generation, her children. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So we'll continue with this video in the next one shortly. Let's see you there.